for protection. She sighed. I remembered a rainy night at least 10 years ago before Echo joined us. A different cat, a different bed, but the very same house, the house that my father left me, and the two of us, Bethesda and myself, younger but not so very different from today. I dozed, nearly dreaming. 2 sharp slaps landed on my shoulder. 2 slaps was Echo's way of saying no, like shaking his head. No, he would not or could not send my visitor away. He tapped me again, twice, sharply on the shoulder. All right, I muttered. Bethesda rolled aggressively away, dragging the sheet with her and exposing me to the dank September air. The kitten tumbled toward me, sticking out its claws as it flailed for balance. Numa's balls! I snapped, though it wasn't fabled King Numa who found himself wounded by a single cat claw. Echo discreetly ignored my yelp of pain. Bethesda laughed sleepily in the darkness. I snapped out of bed and fumbled for my tunic. Echo was already holding it ready for me to crawl into. This had better be important, I said. It was important. Just how important I had no way of knowing that night, and not for some time after. If the emissary waiting in my vestibule had made himself clear, if he had been frank about why and for whom he had come, I would have bent to his wishes without the least hesitation. Such a case and such a client as fell into my lap that night are few and far between. I would have fought for the chance to take on the job. Instead, the man who curtly introduced himself as Marcus Mummius affected an air of portentous secrecy and treated me with a suspicion that bordered on contempt. He told me that my services were needed without delay for a job that would take me away from Rome for several days. Are you in some sort of trouble? I asked. Not me, he bellowed. He seemed incapable of talking in a tone of voice reasonable for a sleeping household. His words came out in a series of grunts and barks, the way that one speaks to an unruly slave or a bad dog. There is no language as ugly as Latin when it is spoken in such a fashion. Barracks Latin, I mean, for as sleepy as I was and as numb with the evening's wine, I was beginning to make certain deductions about my uninvited guest. Disguised behind his well-trimmed beard, his austere but expensive-looking black tunic, his finely made boots and plush woolen cloak, I saw a soldier, a man used to giving orders and being instantly obeyed. Well, he said, looking me up and down as if I were a lazy recruit fresh out of bed and dragging my feet before the day's march. Are you coming or not? Echo, offended at such rudeness, put his hands on his hips and glowered. Mummius threw back his head and snorted in a fit of impatience. I cleared my throat. Echo, I said. Fetch me a cup of wine, please. Warmed, if you can. See if the embers are still glowing in the kitchen. And a cup for you as well, Marcus Mummius? My guest scowled and shook his head sharply, like a good legionnaire on guard duty. Some warm cider, perhaps? No, I insist, Marcus Mummius. The night is cool. Come, follow me to my study. Look, Echo has already lit the lamps for us. He anticipates all my needs. Here, sit. No, I insist. Now, Marcus Mummius, I take it you've come here offering me work. In the brighter light of the study, I could see that Mummius looked worn and tired, as if he had not slept properly for some time. He fidgeted in his chair and held his eyes open with an unnatural alertness. After a moment, he sprang up and began pacing, and when Echo came with his warm cider, he refused to take it. Thus does a soldier on a long watch refuse to make himself comfortable for fear that sleep will come against his will. Yes, he finally said. I have come to summon you. Summon me? No one summons Gordianus the Finder. I am a citizen, no man's slave or freedman, and at last report Rome was still a republic, amazingly enough, and not a dictatorship. Other citizens come to consult me, to ask for my services, to hire me, and they usually come during daylight. At least the honest ones do. Mummius appeared to be working hard to contain his exasperation. This is ridiculous, he said. You'll be paid, of course, if that's what you're worried about. In fact, I'm authorized to offer you 5 times your regular daily pay, considering the inconvenience and the travel, he said cautiously. 5 days of